Hello. Welcome to the Creative Differences Podcast. My name is Dallas.
I'm Gabby. Sorry, Dallas. I was distracted for a second.
I know, you're on your phone.
Get off your phone.
Yes, ma'am
Always
and
on
sir.
my phone.
And I'm Demi, and I'm going to be taking Colin's place today because he couldn't make it.
Colin has abandoned us.
Again, it's so hurtful.
Again.
To be fair, he didn't like 2 of the movies that we're reviewing, and he didn't see the other one, so I guess it's all right.
Yes, Colin doesn't like things. But, you know, normally he's here to tell us that.
Okay. But let's not roast Colin.
He's not here to defend
I'm
himself.
just telling the people.
Let's tell them what we're talking about today, guys.
Yes, today we're talking about a few movies. Parasite, JoJo Rabbit, and Terminator. Probably in that order.
Actually, in that order.
Yeah, in that order.
Haha. See, I was right. We also have some news, as usual, and some things that we've been watching. Maybe. I don't know how prepared we are today.
I haven't.
I figured. All right, let's jump right into it. First off is Parasite, because I'm the only one who saw it.
I mean, Colin saw it, but he's not here.
Colin doesn't exist
But he
today.
didn't like it.
Yes, true. Also, he didn't
For
like
anybody interested in what his opinion was.
Okay, so tell us about Parasite.
Yes. Nobody knows what Parasite is.
Yep.
Because
none.
I work at a movie theater, and people have been asking me for weeks, what's Parasite? Is it scary? Oh, my God, is it scary? People keep thinking it's a horror movie. I think because the name Parasite is kind of like, ugh.
Implies.
It also looks creepy.
Yeah, also, like, the poster has a body on it. You just see the legs, but it's, like, clearly a dead body in the lawn. But I watched the trailer. I was like, this isn't supposed to be scary. Like, this clearly isn't a horror movie. But then I watched the movie, and now I don't know. To start off, Parasite is a movie about a poor family and their interactions with a rich family. And basically, without giving too much away, they try to come up off this rich family, basically. They're like, we're going to hit this lick. Boom. That's
They act
What?
like parasites.
Yes. Gabby, hit a lick is a term used in urban communities to refer to, like, a get-rich-quick, like, we're going to get this money.
Copy.
Yeah,
I understand.
got it. It could also be used as a robbery, but it's not important right now. It is written and directed by Bong Joon-ho, whose name I think I said correctly. He made Snowpiercer, I want to say.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, he's very into the, I guess, depiction of class and how it separates. There was something he said in the interview about how, like, Snowpiercer is the poor people in the back of the train and the rich people in the front. And now you kind of have a vertical depiction, which I'm not going to say anymore because that's a spoiler. Yeah, it's good. It's really good. It's really weird.
That's why I haven't established if I wanted to see it yet. I'll see it eventually.
Yeah. I wasn't going to see it. I was like, everyone's like, oh my God, you got to see Parasite. It's so good. And I was like, no, I'm really not that interested in it. But then one of my best friends of 20 years, shout out to Daniel, he said something that actually made me want to see it. Well, first off, he said, are you interested in seeing it? And I was like, no. And then he was like, from what I've heard, I think it'd be like right up your alley. And an interesting thing is a lot of people, when they recommend the movie to you, they just say, hey, I like this thing, so you should watch it. Daniel was the first person to tell me, hey, I think you'd like this thing, so you should watch it. And it's like, oh, well, you've known me for 20 years. You know me pretty well. If you think I like the movie, man, I should check it out. Pro tip, if you're going to recommend a movie to someone, make sure that you actually think they'll like the movie. Don't just recommend it because you like it, because not everybody's the same. But I'm glad I watched it. It was good. All the acting is good. The story, it's like, something I said was like, it's like 3 different movies.
Yeah, I've read that on
Because it
Twitter.
starts as like kind of a family comedy. Like, they're broke and they're, you know, trying to come up and they're doing whatever they can and they're kind of shady. Ha ha ha. And then it gets really like dramatic and kind of suspenseful. And I'm like, oh, whoa, now I'm kind of sad. What's going on? And then there's like at least 2 scenes where it turned into a straight up horror movie. And I was like, what the hell is going on? Yeah. So that's why after seeing the movie, I feel like I know less about what kind of genre it's supposed to be. It's really good. The emotions run really high. Like, you feel tense, you feel sadness, you feel, I don't know, you kind of feel happiness. Because like at some point they start to do better, but it's like, you guys are bad people. So I don't know if I feel better for you doing better because you guys are shady and very sketchy.
But the rich are the worst, Dallas. I'm just kidding. Eat the rich.
I don't want to give away too much, but like, it's like, oh my God, the rich people aren't terrible in this movie. Like, you know, they say stupid rich people things sometimes, but like, the poor people are really like on some predatory stuff. And they're the protagonists. So I'm like, how am I supposed to like you? But I don't know, maybe that's the point. It's like, you know.
Sometimes you make movies about people who aren't likable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
It
sometimes you
happens.
just got, like, it's real. Not everybody's likable. It'd be like that. This is going to be a weird story. After the movie, I felt the need to look something up that I never wanted to look up and that I didn't look up because I don't want to be on a watch list. But I walked out thinking, what is the age of consent in Korea? Because not one, but 2 adult characters express interest in a high school girl and no one says anything. Gabby just looked it up.
And it's 20.
Here's the thing. After the movie, friend I watched it with also looked it up because I don't want to fall on that sword because,
No.
I don't want that to be in my search history. Because then if I ever do go to Korea, the government's going to be like, watch him. Don't let him out of your sight. And apparently it says 20, but also there's some sources that say it's 13.
Oh, God.
So I'm like, either pursuing a high school girl is even worse in Korea because the age of consent is 20, or it's normal because it's 13, which not normal to me, obviously. But I was very confused. And then we try to look it up and
just like you are about this movie.
It's just a very confusing movie. And to be honest, this doesn't really have a lot to do with the quality of the movie, but it just kind of made me feel icky. And I was just like, no one is saying anything about this. Maybe this is normal over there. Maybe it's not.
I don't know if that
Also,
is
one of
true.
the sites that is a site, I think it's called ageofconsent.net, which is, that's a weird thing to exist. But also there was a Trump advertisement on it.
Oh.
And I was like, of course this site has a Donald Trump advertisement.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Yeah,
All the pedophiles.
apparently I don't know. Someone from Korea, tell me, is that normal? Should I feel as weird as I do about this movie for that reason?
You probably should.
Um,
It's a high school age kid, man.
right?
Yeah.
But putting all that aside, it's a really good movie.
It won the Palme d'Or at
It did.
Cannes.
It won that thing.
That's like
It was the first
top
Korean
prize.
movie to do so.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Khan.
Shout out to South Korea.
All right. Parasite. In theaters now. Have fun, guys.
On to a very different movie, but also very
Gray area.
controversial, I guess.
Yeah.
A comedy about Nazis, JoJo Rabbit.
Nazi
yeah,
comedy.
me and Gabby went to go see JoJo Rabbit. Colin also went to go see JoJo Rabbit. He didn't like it. Anyway, for those of you guys who don't know what JoJo Rabbit is about, I'm going to give you guys my favorite description of this movie. It's about a boy growing up in World War II Nazi Germany towards the end of the war, and his imaginary friend is Adolf Hitler. I love telling that because people look at me like, what? And then I continue and I tell them, and he discovers that his mother is hiding a Jewish girl in their house.
Mm-hmm.
That is the entirety of what JoJo Rabbit is about.
Yep.
It's a coming of age story about coming against something that conflicts with your entire belief system.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, Gabby, what do you think of the movie?
I liked it, obviously, because it's Taika Waititi, and I didn't want to see it, and then I saw like this one clip with Scarlett Johansson and Sam Rockwell, and I was like, well, I'm watching it just from this clip. And then I thought it had a lot of heart, and it broke my heart a little bit.
Yeah.
But it was really sweet. It reminded me of Life is Beautiful, which is also another comedy about Nazi Germany.
All right.
Roberto Benigni. This is funny in places, but it's also very bittersweet in other places.
Yeah.
And just straight up fucking sad in third places.
Oh, God. Oh, God. So I love this movie. I've seen it twice, and I think it's fantastic. Taika Waititi does a great job. Because I went to see it because I was curious, because I'm like, okay, you made a comedy about Nazi Germany about a kid who wants to be a Nazi and his imaginary friend is Adolf Hitler.
Yeah.
Like, there are so many places where this can go wrong.
Or a kid who is a Nazi, basically.
Yeah, and I think that Taika does a great job of balancing and walking the line. It doesn't feel like he's trying to be offensive or that he's trying to hurt anybody by making this film.
No.
But it's funny.
It's just a really hard sell.
Yeah, it's very hard.
Especially when there's like Nazis out and about
I love
Yep.
right now.
Yeah. I
Like-
love the characters in this movie. I love JoJo. He's so adorable.
Yeah. And his mom is like the
Rosie
best.
Betzler is the best. Scarlett Johansson
Did
is
a good job.
I think Scarlett Johansson is coming for her Oscar nominations this year.
She wants an Oscar nom this year, and she's probably gonna get one
Yeah,
or two.
she is
Either.
great in this movie. And then Thomasin McKenzie, who plays Elsa, also
Yeah.
Roman Griffin Davis, who plays JoJo.
He's really
Both of
good.
them do
Carries the
really
whole
great
movie.
job. Yeah, like, and these are really hard roles to play. Roman has to play a kid who wants to be a Nazi, and who's conflicted about that as he meets this Jewish girl. And Thomasin has the hard job of playing a Jewish girl who's stuck in a
house
and a crawl space,
Yeah.
and has that it's really heavy emotional stuff that she has to carry, even though it's a comedy.
Yeah.
And even Scarlett Johansson has some really heavy stuff to do in this movie.
Yep.
But it's funny.
Yeah, it's really funny.
It's so funny.
It's super, super funny.
Yeah, but I love the way that Taika Waititi, who is the director and the writer, he also plays the imaginary friend Hitler. Adolf, as he is credited in the movie.
Oh, so great.
I love the way that he handles the imaginary friend, because it's JoJo's subconscious. It's what JoJo believes. As the movie goes on, the more JoJo starts to believe less and less in the Nazi ideology, the more his imaginary Hitler begins to change.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't fit in with what JoJo is now starting to believe.
Yeah.
I like that progression, and I love the way that it works in the movie.
Same.
But yeah, also quite a bit of a Wes Anderson visual style in this film.
Oddly. But you know what? It fit, though. I think Taika did an interesting thing in that he made it kind of, even though the premise was really like, I don't know, man. He made it look familiar. Yeah. In a way that you were like, I don't know about this, but you know what? I'm just fine. I'll buy it. For a minute.
Because it starts out really weird too. Because like it starts out with when JoJo starts howling through the streets.
Yeah, and I'm like,
and it's
like
cut
this.
between like these propaganda videos of Hitler, or like people reacting to Hitler in Germany.
Yeah, like he's a celebrity
while playing the Beatles. I Want to Hold Your Hand in German. And so it's such a weird,
and that's
like
the opening credits.
Yeah,
and I'm like, you started with the Beatles, but
it's got like this rock star mentality to it. Like this is, but it fits because that's who this guy was in Germany. Like that might be a little offsetting to some people, and I think there are some things that are going to be off-putting, but I think it's supposed to be, and I think that it does it well enough that you won't be too like.
Yeah. And it's timely because, like we said, there are Nazis running around, and like
it's also a movie
there
about
are fanatics.
Yeah, it's a movie about blind fanaticism.
Yeah.
But it's also a movie about empathy.
Yes.
But yeah, I love it. I think it's a great movie.
It's a really good movie. So we both highly recommend it.
All right. Last one on the list.
The one we all saw.
Yeah.
Terminator Dark Fate.
We can all talk to each other.
This was my favorite movie of the week.
How many movies did you see this week?
2.
Oh, okay.
Actually, no, 3, because I'm watching The King as well, but I'm not finished with it yet. So.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so Terminator Dark Fate. Just a quick little synopsis on what that movie's about. I mean, it's kind of a bit of a rehash of the first 2 films, except now we have a new protagonist named Danny, who is being chased by a machine from the future. But luckily for her, she's got an augmented human from the future there to protect her, as well as the older, wiser, and more competent, even more competent than the T2, Sarah Connor.
Oh, I'm so sad that it's underperforming at the box office because it's so good.
I came out of the movie and was like, yo, we got one.
Yeah, it's a solid sequel.
It's really good.
Not, I mean, there's nothing that's going to be as great a sequel as Terminator T2, but it's a really solid sequel.
Yeah,
I understand the Force Awakens like comparison.
Yeah, because I think even though it's a bit of a rehash, there's still enough of a difference. It's like from a totally different cultural perspective.
I don't really see there being enough of a difference. Like I do, but only in that they took things from the other movies as well, like the ones that they're ignoring. So it's like,
oh, I totally missed those references.
It's a hodgepodge of all the Terminator movies. Maybe not all of them. I don't think they really do much with Genesis.
Yeah,
except
there's
is there a little bit of Genesis?
A little bit.
Okay.
Not a
so
lot.
it's like I've only seen the first 2 Terminators and this one. And Genesis. Haha, forgot. But yeah, they take some of 3 and 4, mix it all in the blender, and it's good.
Well, here's the thing. The plot line is very much similar to T1 and T2.
Yeah.
For me, it's about the perspective that you're coming at it from. There's a whole portion of the movie where Danny, Sarah, and Grace are trying to travel from south of the border to America.
And like about the choice that you have to make and the different ways that people do it.
There's a whole thing to be said about immigration, which I'm not going to make that comment right here, right now. That's in this film. That's a big deal in this film. And I think that's great. I feel like that's a different way of taking the story and showing it from a different perspective, from a different viewpoint.
And then just creating empathy for people.
I like Danny. I like Grace.
Grace is my freaking favorite.
I like the Rev 9.
And the
I love
Rev
the
9.
Rev 9.
Oh, Gabriel Luna.
Gabriel Luna was
Gabriel
freaking
Luna
dope in
is
this
going to be
movie.
starring in a lot of my fan cast from
See,
now on.
Gabriel Luna in this movie just reminded me of why everybody loved him so much as Ghost Rider on
Right.
Agents of
Yeah.
S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
And it's so sad that he's not getting that Ghost Rider show
Yeah.
because, oh my gosh, he's great in this movie.
Yeah.
I've been a fan of Mackenzie Davis since I saw her in The Martian, and she never
Yeah, she's
disappoints in anything I've ever seen her in.
I was
She's
trying to,
never
like,
disappointed me.
great. Yeah, I'm trying to think of where I saw her because I've been a fan of her for years
Man,
She's
too.
in Blade Runner.
The
2049.
Martian,
No,
Blade Runner 2049.
I saw her in
She
like
was in an
What If?
episode.
I think
She was in an episode of Black Mirror.
that's one of the things I've seen her
She's
in.
in my favorite episode of Black Mirror.
Yeah,
San
San
Junipero.
Junipero.
Oh, she's a white girl.
Yep.
Yeah.
I saw her in a romantic comedy with
Oh,
Daniel Radcliffe like
Yeah, with
7 or 8 years
Adam
ago.
Driver's in that movie too.
Yes, he is.
She's also in a movie. She's in that movie with Zac Efron, Miles Teller, and Michael B. Jordan.
The awkward
the
moment.
awkward
That
moment.
awkward moment.
Oh, I think that's what it was.
Very
I saw
underrated
What
comedy.
If, and I saw that awkward moment like really close together, and I was like, she's so cool.
She's
I
great.
like her.
I think Natalia Reyes is also really good in this movie as
she
Danny.
is really good. But
Linda-
Grace is my favorite. And Linda Hamilton.
They're so gay, even though this movie tries
It's
to be
so
like no
gay. I
homo.
loved it so much. I was like, kiss now, kiss.
Grace
please.
is so Kyle Reese,
Didn't.
and
I
Danny
was
is
so sad.
so Sarah Connor.
Honestly, I was wondering who you guys were saying the gay ones are. I figured it was those two because Sarah Connor's like 65.
Yeah.
But like, you guys definitely latch on to gayness more than I do. Because
I don't
I
think
didn't
I
get
was
that,
latching.
especially
Well, I thought
based
it was.
on stuff that we're not going to talk about. That's spoilery
Yeah.
later.
Yeah.
But like, to make it gay after seeing that
Well-
feels weird.
Well, no, but it was weird though because the movie was going, and I was like, "This is a thing," and then that happened,
Oh,
and I
yeah.
went, "What? Really? That's what we're doing here?"
Well,
and then
so-
after the movie, I thought it was just me, and then Gabby said something, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, you saw it too?" I
Yeah.
thought
Yeah.
I was just like,
No. I was like,
I just felt like if you two were the ones seeing it, and it's like, does it really?
I'm sorry.
We're definitely not the only ones seeing it.
No, and also like I was talking to one of my coworkers.
People were seeing it in the trailers.
Yeah, so one of my coworkers, she hasn't seen the movie,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, I was getting super gay vibes from it, and she was like, "It's not gay," and I was like, "What?" And she was like, "I was just going off her clothes and haircut. I thought she was gay."
I don't feel like close in the haircut or a kid. But I guess it makes sense. Like if you haven't seen the movie, or even if you have, her character is clearly Kyle Reese because it's the same movie.
Yeah.
So like for Kyle Reese,
That's also
and
why.
then this is Sarah Connor. Like the fan fiction writes itself, obviously.
Yes, that's why. That's also part of the reason is because she was in my head. She was Kyle Reese.
It parallels
Yeah.
And
so
so
heavily.
Because in the
Yeah.
movie's head, she's Kyle Reese. 'cause
Yeah.
They're doing the same
Yeah,
thing.
no, they
Yeah.
are. Like, all I saw was, like, a devoted, in love soldier instead of what they wanted me to
I
see,
mean,
which
that's
was the other
what
thing.
that's what you saw. It just wasn't that dynamic.
Oh.
I can see how it fits both.
It does.
Anyway, moving forward, Linda Hamilton does an excellent job as Sarah Connor in this
Yep.
movie.
I
It was
ship
kind
it so hard.
seeing Linda Hamilton back as Sarah Connor was kind of like seeing the original cast members of Star Wars come back for Star Wars,
That
and
makes
she's so good in this movie.
She really is.
I mean, she was great in the first two as well, which is why we love Linda Hamilton. But I
Yeah.
think Sarah Connor being in this movie just kind of further showed how much Sarah Connor is important to this series.
Well, in my head, I was like, this has always been, the Terminator sequences have always been missing something, and I couldn't quite place it really.
It's Sarah.
And it was Sarah the whole time. She really grounded the movies in a level of reality
'Cause
that I think they had lost.
Sarah's
a little
always been the human character that we as an audience latch onto. She's the
Yeah.
most human out of all the characters.
But to be clear, you mean specifically Linda Hamilton, Sarah, then? Because Sarah
Yeah.
Connor's in Genesis.
bit.
too.
Sorry, that's
Is
what
she
I
in
meant.
Genesis?
Yeah, she.
So,
yeah.
Emilia Clarke is playing Sarah
Oh,
Connor.
I'm sorry. You're right. You're
No,
sorry.
no. We were thinking Linda Hamilton.
Yes,
sorry,
this
Linda-
specific version
this-
of Sarah.
this- specific
Yeah, because in
version.
Emilia Clarke's Sarah Connor
Yeah.
is a very
It's a
different
yeah.
Sarah Connor.
To the point where I forgot that was her.
It's a Sarah that's raised in a whole different way.
Mhm.
The Terminator series has been missing this Sarah Connor.
Yeah.
Arnold Schwarzenegger does his
mean,
thing
I said
again as a T-800. You know.
Yep, as
I
always.
loved him. He was amazing.
And then
He
Gabriel.
was so funny.
Carl.
Freaking Carl.
Carl was
Oh my god.
I'm not calling you
adorable.
Carl.
Carl is
I'm not
amazing.
calling you Carl.
That was great.
I
Oh,
loved
he
it.
was adorable.
Carl's my favorite part. Him and the Rev 9, which is just
Dude, the freaking Rev
Terrifyingly
9 was
awesome.
so scary.
The Rev, I was like, bro, the Rev 9's just not going to go down.
No, I was like, how are they gonna kill this?
The action sequences, Tim Miller does a great job
yo,
with the
those
action
action
Dude.
shots were dope.
They were so cool.
Especially like every time the Rev 9 would like do that splitting up thing.
Yes.
In
Yes.
the trailer, I was like, that's amazing.
It
Even
makes so
from
much
the
sense.
first action sequence from
Mhm.
at the working plant or wherever they are.
Yeah.
Oh
they're
my
at a car
gosh.
plant.
And I love that
They're
he's like the T-1000 in the way that he interacts with people is a lot more natural.
Yeah.
Every time he would put on a different accent, like after the border patrol scene when he was talking to those Southern dudes, like, you boys know where I can get me a chopper. I was like, yo, how many accents do you have in this movie?
All of them, because
he was dope.
He's a Rev 9. I really like this movie. There are things.
Tim Miller, man.
I have
really good
criticisms of the movie, obviously. I feel like it's a good movie. It is not quite as great as the first two. I mean, you probably never will be. But, like, I think this movie understands that some of what makes Terminator great is the quiet moments when people are being people and not just the action. And so it makes you feel. I just wish that the quiet moments in this movie were quieter, because a lot of times in Terminator and in Terminator 2, you get a lot of moments where it's just looking, where it's just acting, where it's just behaving and not really talking. Yeah. And we're in this one, I was like, cool, we're getting the quiet moments, but they're all dialogue scenes. And I kind of every so often wanted there to just be like, still.
Got it.
It's funny because that's actually why this one is my favorite. I didn't want any of that. I was like, yo, give me Rev 9 fighting Mackenzie Davis, who is allegedly a human who's just enhanced. But like, bro, no, you're not. She was so adamant about, I'm a human. But then every time they reveal a little bit more about her enhancements, I'm like, you're not a human anymore, bro. Like,
but she is.
Barely.
Yeah. Well, barely, I think, in the physical. Because humanity is about, the feelings and the,
And Carl's a human.
Well, that's the point of these movies, though. It's about...
Like, where do you draw the line?
Yeah, it's like,
she pushes that
humans,
line.
T2 was about humans becoming more like robots. Mm-hmm. This one seems to be robots can become more like humans.
But she was dope.
She was so cool.
I like what the story has to say, because it does have things to say, and it's very clear about what it wants to say.
Yep.
If this is like the last Terminator movie that we get for a while, since this one's underperforming, if this is the last one we ever got, I'd be like, I'm perfectly fine with considering the Terminator series as Terminator, Terminator 2, and Terminator Dark Fate.
And they've made, what, 6 at this point?
6 in a TV series?
Yeah, like, I think that's a good stopping point.
Yep.
Speaking of things I want, Tim Miller, the OG, 2-0, undefeated, he made Deadpool, as everybody knows. Mm-hmm. One of the first Rev 9 scenes, like every time that he like kind of brings himself back together, the skin is black. Like the material
I also
black.
loved the gunmetal look.
Yeah, and like the
cool.
blades. For some reason, I was like, oh my God, this is a symbiote. Like, because he pulls himself together and he uses blades in a way that I was like, this is Carnage. And there's a comic book, Deadpool versus Carnage. And I was like, oh my God. I've seen Tim Miller make Deadpool. And essentially, I've seen Tim Miller use Carnage as his antagonist. If he could make a Deadpool versus Carnage movie, I would be so happy. And I know there are a plethora of reasons why that can't happen, as far as like,
Disney would
movie
not
deals
allow
and such.
that.
You never know nowadays with that new deal they've gotten.
Honestly, like Disney, just buy Sony. Like, because
no.
I need
just buy the
that
Spider-Man rights back.
Yeah, just do that.
Sony is gonna not. Disney's gonna have to pry them from Sony's.
There was a rumor
hands.
that was a thing that might happen, but I don't think that was actually a fact.
But I was like, oh my God, he's Carnage. Like the blades, the movement, the way he does everything, like all goopy.
So story good, or like it's solid. A story. It's a solid story. Characters are good. Acting's good. Mm-hmm. Action sequences are dope.
Oh my God. There is one point where it got a little bit ridiculous for me, where I was like rolling my eyes at the action, but then we had that scene. What's it called? The chain, and I was like, yes.
The scene in Border Patrol, man, where the Rev 9 is just trying to get to him. We all agree that we really like this movie. Mm-hmm. I recommend you guys go see it if you're into Terminator, if you're into action movies.
Yeah.
There is a small corner of the geekdom that is not going to like this movie and is already complaining.
Colin.
No, not Colin.
Oh, sorry. That's just because he doesn't like action
Colin
movies.
is not associated with those people at all.
Oh, you mean like this, like the Terminator geekdom?
Yeah, or
gotcha.
Geekdom in general.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's move on to our next topic, guys. What are we doing?
Terminator forever. Moving on.
It was a good-ass movie.
That segment, the working title segment of what you watching, what you doing, what's going on with you.
What's happening?
What's happening? Yeah. What's hot in the streets?
What's hot in the streets?
Gabby.
Queer Eye on Netflix has gone to Japan.
Interesting.
And I was a little bit apprehensive because Queer Eye is like a makeover show, but it's very, very like American. Japanese culture and American culture are clearly very, very different.
Yes.
So I was like, how are a bunch of Americans going to go to Japan and like make over somebody's life, but without it really just like completely derailing their whole social structure? They dealt with it really well. Mostly they had a lot of advice from like Japanese people about how to approach the people they were making over. And what I respect about Queer Eye is when they make somebody over, it's not like the makeover shows of the past where they come in and they're like, your whole life is trash, let's throw it out. And people are put in really uncomfortable situations, and the makeover is not likely to stick because it's just so different from who the person is.
Yeah.
They're like, you're great. We're just going to clean you up a little bit and bring out why we think you're great to the surface so that you can see why you're great.
Well, that's nice.
And they never, ever take anybody super far out of their comfort zone.
Good.
If somebody's like, I like the length of my hair, they don't chop off all their hair.
Okay.
They're like, okay, then we're just going to give you a haircut that's going to style you nicely in a way that you still have your long hair, but it's just cleaned up a little bit. If somebody has a particular style, they take that style and just elevate it a little bit. So I really, really respect the way that Queer Eye does things, and they actually did the transition to Japan pretty okay, and they were still pretty respectful. So I really liked it. It made me cry because it's Queer Eye, and it's great.
Dallas, what you watching? What you been doing?
Queer Eye for the Last Samurai. I am not watching that. I'm watching something that's supposed to be spooky. I started watching Castle Rock, which is a Hulu show based in...
Oh, that's Stephen King stuff.
Yes, Stephen King stuff. It was created by Sam Shaw and Dustin Thomason, and they made a bunch of stuff I don't know about, so not going to talk about it. It's been on my list for a while, and the new season came out. I'm not watching that because I still have to finish the old season, so I'm in the middle of that. And it's not scary so far. It's interesting. So I haven't stopped. Like, I'm very interested in the story, and it's creepy. Mostly because Bill Skarsgård is in it. And, I've made jokes in the past about, look at Bill Skarsgård. Of course, he's terrifying. But the first shot of him is literally a jump scare. In the first episode, they use his face as a jump scare.
Just his face.
Just his face. It's a shot of Bill Skarsgård's face. And the dude is like, ah. And I was like, ah. He gets creepier from there. And I'm like, all right, Skarsgård, you found your lane. Stay in it.
Yeah, he's the creepy Skarsgård.
He's the creepy one.
Alexander's the hot one, and then the dad is the MCU one, and
yes.
he's the
Bill
creepy
is
one.
There
lanky,
are
scary
other
one.
Skarsgårds.
Yeah, they're like the White Waynes. We've been over
Yeah,
this.
there's like a million of them.
My boy from Vikings.
Yep, Skarsgård is a Viking name.
I mean,
It has a really good cast. Like, Skarsgård is dope. As creepy as he is, he's a really good actor.
Sissy Spacek, right?
She is.
And what's her name? Lizzie Kaplan, right?
Lizzie Kaplan's in season 2. I haven't got to that, but she is going to be in it. What I like is that they're taking people who have been in different adaptations of Stephen King works. Like, Sissy Spacek played Carrie.
Yep.
Skarsgård obviously played Pennywise. Chosen Jacobs, who is the young version of Mike from It, Chapter 1. He's in this show. Yeah. He plays the son of the main character. I was like, oh my God, Chosen Jacobs. The main character is played by Andre Holland, who...
Oh, I know him.
Yeah, more filmy people know him from other stuff
He
like
was in A
Moonlight.
Wrinkle in Time.
That. I think he was in Selma.
He has a very small role in A Wrinkle in Time, to be fair.
Yeah, he's in a bunch of stuff I haven't seen, but he's dope. When they said he had a son who hadn't appeared on screen yet, and I was like, they should get the kid who played Mike from It, and then they did, and I was like, oh my God, it's Mike from It. But also Stick from Daredevil.
Nice. I like him.
Which one was he?
He's the mentor. He's Daredevil's
Yeah, he's
mentor.
like the old.
okay.
Old.
He's
Got
also
it,
in
got it,
Sucker
got it.
Punch.
I haven't seen Sucker Punch, but I believe you because you know stuff. But yeah, he's still playing like an older, rough around the edges. Feel like he'll cuss you out for anything at any time.
He
He's
found
not
his
that in
niche.
Sucker Punch.
Yeah, I'm saying he's like in Daredevil, and he's
Much
that in this.
nicer.
Oh, I got to see Sucker Punch. I want to see him be nice. Yeah, it's a really interesting show. I wish it was a little more scary, or a little scarier. Maybe season 2 will be scarier. I know they do some misery stuff in there, which also reminds me that like I'm not familiar with a lot of Stephen King's work. I feel like there are a bunch of references that I'm missing in this show.
Possibly.
Obviously, I know like Shawshank. There's a girl named Jackie Torrance. It's a reference to Jack Torrance from The Shining. And she talks about how she had an uncle who went crazy at a ski resort and like tried to kill his whole family.
Yeah,
There
of course.
it is.
Yeah, and she was like, yeah, so I took his name to piss off my parents. So she goes by Jackie. She's an interesting character.
Are there Dark Tower references in there?
I'm sure there are. There's a bunch of characters. I feel like every character is a reference that, for the most part, I'm not getting. But I get the obvious ones, like Shawshank. I know that.
Does this take place in Maine?
Of course.
Okay.
It takes place in Castle Rock, Maine, which is a setting he's used in his books and stuff before. Good stuff. I'm trying to finish both seasons before I see Dr. Sleep. I know I don't need to.
Oh, is that why you don't know when you're going to go see Dr. Sleep?
No, if I don't finish them by like Friday, I'm just going to go watch it either way.
Oh.
But like, I was like, oh, I can get into a Stephen King mood and be spooky. Well, yeah, dope show.
Yeah. I decided I'm not watching Dr. Sleep.
I figured you wouldn't, but I never know with you. I mean, you watched both It movies. You can handle
It's
Dr.
been a
Sleep.
strange year.
No.
Nah, she's shaking her head. You guys can't see it, but she's shaking her head.
She is shaking her head. She is not about that life.
All right.
To me, what's hot in the streets?
I have two things. So I watched Little Mermaid live.
Oh, yeah.
which thankfully I was informed of what this was going to be like, or else I'd probably be disappointed, as a lot of people are, because they didn't realize that it was going to be watching the animated movie, but every time there's a musical number, it's live.
Wait, what?
All the musical numbers are live. It's as if like you went to like the Hollywood Bowl when they do like orchestra stuff and they play the movie, but it's the actual orchestra playing.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's like that.
So you're watching the animated movie.
You're watching the animated movie, and then
Oh.
every time there's a musical performance in the movie,
Then they do that
it goes live.
Yeah.
Did not know that.
I did.
Yeah, I saw it in articles and stuff like that.
Oh, cool.
So that was cool. It was fun. Ali Cravalho did pretty well.
Nice.
I don't think her vocal range is high enough to be Ariel.
Oh no.
Interesting.
She's more of an alto. She's not a soprano. But she did good. Like, her rendition was solid. The guy who played Eric was really good. I was really impressed. They had a solo song for Eric and a duet between Eric and Ariel that was actually really nice. I want both of them in the live action film. Shaggy really came out in just a red suit, and I was like, really? That's what? That's it?
I had two
was
important
great.
questions. One, how was Shaggy? Because that was.
He only came out in like a red leather
I saw
top
the picture
and
of it. And I was like, all right, that's a way to do it.
I was like, that's it. We actually had people dressed up as crabs in the show, and,
But not him.
No,
He's too cool for that.
but he sounded
Yeah,
he
was
sounded
way too
good.
cool.
Queen Latifah stole the friggin' show.
Nice.
If you don't watch any of that, just watch her do Poor Unfortunate Souls, because she's so good. My dream of Queen Latifah playing Ursula is satisfied by just this one number.
Oh, good.
I wish that she was still in the live action movie that they're making, because oh my god.
Same.
That's funny because I wanted Ali'i to play Ariel in the live action version.
Yeah.
But I was
No.
like, this is fine too.
Queen
I'm not
Lat-
gonna watch it, but it's fine.
Yeah, no, Queen Latifah as Ursula. Oh my gosh. She burns her hand at some point during the performance
What?
and like keeps going. Like, she makes it like kind of part of the performance. She just kind of plays it off as she's going. It's such a good performance. During the song, they have like a moment where it's Ariel, and it's the payment moment where it's like, what's the fee? What do I have to pay?
Yeah.
They have that whole dialogue, but they made it part of the song.
Ooh.
And that segment of the song is so good. I love it. Oh my gosh, it is so fierce. But yeah, it was fun. It was great. The special effects were cool that they were using. The practical effects were cool. There were like some really cool transitions in there, like that went from like live action to animated. That was pretty sweet.
Ooh.
So, it was fun. Whatever.
I
Like,
have another important question.
yeah.
Did John Stamos have that ridiculous mustache on?
Yes.
Yes.
He did.
Yeah, he did. He did indeed. He did pretty good too
That's
for his
amazing.
number. So yeah, that was fun. And then the last thing I want to talk about is I went to a film festival for a nonprofit organization this past weekend.
Oh yeah.
I do work with a nonprofit called Kids in the Spotlight that works with foster kids as well as young adults who are transitioning out of the foster system, and they teach them to make movies. So they learn to write, act. They act in these films. Sometimes they shadow the directors or, different people on set. There's a whole day of production that goes into it. They have like one day to shoot whatever they write. And then there's a film festival at the end of the year for it. So I went to that this weekend. It's a really awesome organization. So if any of you guys are interested in anything of that sort, like you just kind of want to check it out, you guys can go to kitsinc.org. It's kitsinc.org. It is a really awesome program. They had a silent auction there. They always have a silent auction there over the course of the film festival.
Mm-hmm.
And they had an assigned Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. poster.
Nice.
So I won it.
Yeah.
And they also had like a series of like 4K Blu-ray,
Interesting.
packs there
Oh.
of DC movies. So I also won that.
Nice.
Damn.
Yeah, we now have like 8 DC movies or whatever. Shazam was in there, and I was just like, I don't own Shazam yet, so
Yeah.
I got it.
Dope.
Yeah, for the amount of money that I paid for it, like,
Yep.
it's really good
Yeah.
deal.
Shout out to auctions.
So yeah, it's a really awesome organization, and you guys should check it out.
We could put the link in the YouTube description.
Edo.
Look for that.
Let's move on to news.
The news.
Done news.
More what's happening.
More what's happening. What's hot in the streets of movies. First and foremost, Andy Serkis
And Colin Farrell.
and maybe Matthew McConaughey.
What?
Yeah.
That remains to be
Yes.
seen. Are in talks to play Alfred Pennyworth, the Penguin, and Harvey Dent, respectively.
I did
Yep.
not hear about the Matthew McConaughey as Harvey Dent news.
I keep hearing about it now. Ever since I heard about Andy Serkis and Colin Farrell, this one seems to be less substantiated.
That's like more of a rumor. The
Yeah.
other
Yeah.
ones are actual, like, they're in
Like,
talks.
They're in talks. And like
Yep.
other sites are saying he's in talks to be Two-Face,
No.
but not the same sites. So I'm like, this
that-
feels like it's on a different level of.
That's
Veracity.
less.
Confirmed.
Yeah.
But I mean,
I'm down.
I'm cool with all of these, even the one that's probably not true.
Andy Serkis as
I don't know
Alfred.
about that.
No, I'm down for it. I just did not. That's not one that I would have seen coming. I think it's because for our fan cast, me, you, and Colin went so much older than Andy Serkis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alfred's kind of got like a sarcastic snarkiness to him sometimes, and Andy Serkis can do that. It'll be interesting to see Andy. I love when Andy Serkis does like human roles, because most people just know him for his mocap work.
Of course.
And it's just like Andy Serkis is incredible.
He has a lot of range.
Yep.
Oh my goodness, him in
Just never
13
see
going
it.
on
He's
30.
He's so great in that
He's
movie.
so great.
Him and Scooby-Doo, man.
Oh my gosh, him doing the Thriller dance.
Yes.
Guys, come on.
Who was he in Scooby-Doo?
He was
He was in Scooby.
he was like one of the bad guys in one movie, and in another movie he was just like captured.
Clearly,
It
I
was
need to
great.
rewatch the live
I
action
don't-
Scooby-Doo
I do not
movies.
remember him in that movie at all.
I don't either.
Oh, he's in it.
Andy
All right, shout
Serkis
out to Andy
is
Serkis.
great. Colin Farrell, I love.
Before we
Colin
leave
Farrell.
Andy Serkis.
Oh, I wanted to mention our last podcast.
Yes, our last endeavor, the YouTube channel called The Reshoots. Go check it out. We have some fun stuff. And it took us a long time to make it, so go watch it. I used to shout out Andy Serkis at every possible opportunity
Yeah.
as basically just fan casting him in every movie.
It was
franchise I
literally, it
could.
became a running gag that you
Yeah.
would just, and I thought of that when he got cast, or
Yeah.
when he said that he was in talks. I was like, Dallas doesn't have to say that he wants Andy Serkis in this movie because
That's
he might
true.
be.
Now Alfred Pennyworth has to be mocap. Colin Farrell. I
love
like Colin Farrell.
Colin Farrell's a great actor.
I hate the Penguin as a character. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I just don't like him.
Maybe Colin Farrell can make
Maybe
you
he'll
like him.
make me not hate him.
Yeah.
Because even in Gotham, I think Robin Lord Taylor is his name. He played Penguin well.
Okay.
So I like that version too. I don't like the character.
I just thought it was like Danny DeVito, and then I was like, Colin Farrell. Okay.
It's a very different version, but
Yeah.
Very different version here.
I'd be down for it.
I just love Colin Farrell, and I hope that
He would be a good
Colin was
penguin.
out here trying to jinx stuff, talking about his guesses that he's not the real Penguin. He's going to be Johnny Depp. And I'm just like, don't bring that
Don't
bad
ruin
energy.
that.
See?
I had to sage the group chat.
That would be hilarious to me.
I would be so upset.
I would be
Especially
really,
if he
really
still has
mad.
like the Grindelwald hair. Because like, there are penguins who have that like little like gold
Yeah,
spiky stuff on
yeah.
the top. Like if he just has that and he's that kind of penguin,
Oh
I'm-
God, no.
it'd be my favorite Batman movie.
I don't need-
off the hilarity
listen.
alone.
Don't
Listen.
bring that bad energy over here.
There are already so many good choices about this Batman movie. Don't bring that here. Every choice that they've made with this Batman movie has gotten me more and more excited about the fact that this movie is going to exist.
I'm just
Yeah.
like, how many villains are we gonna have in this? It's just
Well, the
a
point
lot
is
right
that
now.
he's going to be Detective Batman in this movie. He's going to be
Oh,
investigating
got
each
it.
and every one of them to figure out if they're the ones involved in whatever happens in this.
Yes,
Okay, I
allegedly
understand.
it's based on a comic art called The Long Halloween,
Got
Yes.
it.
which has everybody in it.
Oh, the Long Halloween. I know that one.
Yes.
Got it. Got it.
So,
got it. That
I
one
mean,
and the
hopefully they
Killing
can
Joke.
juggle these characters well, because we've seen comic book movies with too many villains. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
I think this
Yeah.
one will be a little bit better because I'm assuming that Batman's not going to fight every single one of them, and they are not all going.
Yeah, like
to
they'll
be
just appear
Yeah,
here
they'll
and
just
there.
appear.
Also, like if it's based off the Long Halloween, that's one of the classics that's up there with Killing Joke. So they've got good source material.
Yeah, well, we saw what happened when they made Killing Joke. Everybody hated it. Not everybody hated it.
Oh, she meant Joker though.
No, I meant both. I thought the
What?
Killing Joke was fine,
The
Yeah.
first half sucks.
but I meant like
That's the thing. Everybody hates the beginning because well, it's not important.
we're not going
right
to talk
now.
about that movie
no,
right now.
We're gonna move on.
So back to the Johnny Depp conversation that we
Yes.
were having.
Speaking of Johnny Depp, Fantastic Beasts 3. It's moving forward. What is Spring 22? Is that the release date? Or
I
is that
think
when they're
spring
filming?
2020 is when they're going to film.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
So this is less newsworthy than we thought.
I
Also,
did-
it's going to be in Brazil. That's
Okay,
fun.
that's funny because I was reading somewhere that it's also going to have a lot to do with Albus Dumbledore and Hogwarts. So I don't
And
know how these two. It's going to be.
Brazil.
Oh my gosh, it's going to be like Crimes of Grindelwald all over again, where it's just splitting between two places, and I'm going to be like,
Stop it.
stop it.
I don't know why they're still making these movies. Well, because they were like, we're gonna make 5, so let's just
No, they
keep
have to
rolling.
make 5 now.
Time out. Which character is Jessica Williams playing?
Somebody
Oh,
not important.
someone
in
that
either
we
of the
don't
first
know
two.
yet because she was barely
I
in the
think
last
she was in the
movie.
second movie, right?
She was in the second movie, but she wasn't really there. She was there, like Nicholas Flamel like called her and she said
That's
2
right.
things to him. So I'm like, she's someone.
She's the Zoe
Don't know
Kravitz of that movie because Zoe Kravitz was barely in the first one,
yeah,
but she was in
and
it.
She was like really in the second one. Yeah,
Jessica Williams from The Daily Show?
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
I love
Okay,
her.
cool. I like her.
She's an
one of
actor,
my favorite
yes.
people ever.
Here's the thing. I'm a very big Harry Potter fan. Gabby is also a very big Harry Potter
yeah,
fan.
I have like tattoos.
And I
Colin is
used to
also
be-
a very big Harry Potter fan.
We all are. Everyone from our generation is because the books were like. I
I don't know, Dallas. Are you a
deal.
very big Harry Potter fan? I think you're just a general Harry Potter fan.
I was a huge Harry Potter fan growing up, and then it just kind of waned into now I'm a Harry Potter fan. But I wouldn't say a very big one, especially
In comparison
Relative
to
to you
everybody
guys?
else at the table.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I'm not excited for these movies at all. Like the first
either.
the first Fantastic Beasts movie I was already meh on, but I was like, at least I enjoyed my time in the theater. If you keep making enjoyable movies, I'll at least keep coming. The second one, I was like, this is an abomination of a movie.
yeah.
It wasn't a very good movie. I think
You
also
know, I wouldn't go as far to call it
reason-
an abomination. I'm
it
sorry.
wasn't as
But,
bad
like,
because there was a couple saving graces for me. I just thought the plot was like ridiculous.
There
They
is no
could've-
plot.
No, the plot is way too convoluted in my
That's the thing. I
head.
think there's too much plot.
no,
There's
there,
too
there,
much.
there
Is there,
are
like-
too many subplots to the point where the movie doesn't actually move anywhere.
Yeah,
'Cause it's
like
like-
we end up where we started.
You already
But
said you're gonna make 5 movies. You don't need to put all of the storylines into the second one. You have 5 movies.
yeah.
Parse it out a bit.
You were supposed to make 3, and now you made 5, and
They
now
were
we're
like,
on
your
movie
name's
2, and it's
Dumbledore,
too
and
many.
you're a snake, and you're a Nazi, and you
And also,
date rape Jacob.
I wanted like a torrid, love story, a gay love story,
And we're not getting that.
and we're not getting that. And I just
At
feel
least
like
not yet, according to J.K. Rowling.
she's not brave enough to make a love story. Like if she didn't do it for the second one, like she it was like a total. Never mind. I'm not gonna get into it.
There are a lot of
And
feelings.
so
lot
many
of
feelings
feelings.
about Crimes of Grindelwald because it looked good, and then it
And
was
it
not.
wasn't. Yeah, I was very disappointed with the Lita Lestrange storyline.
I was disappointed with
I mean, I was
The
disappointed with a
Dumbledore's
lot of things, but
spoiler or like the Dumbledore
Well,
story.
I mean, Zoe Kravitz, when she got cast in the first one, I was super excited because I was like, ooh, Zoe Kravitz is in a Harry Potter movie. Maybe she'll have something substantial to do. And I'm still waiting for the Batman for her to have something substantial to do. So
many characters.
so many things.
Anyway, they're still making these movies. Maybe one of them will be good. I'm not holding my breath.
The first one was fine, right?
The first one was
The
fun.
first one was fine, but the problem with the first one is this giant bait and switch. Like, I thought we were really going to follow Newt Scamander on an adventure. And
What's
then it was
funny
like,
is
nah.
I actually predicted that months in advance
You
from the trailers,
did.
and I was like, this
And,
is going to be about Grindelwald, and that doesn't make sense because this is a Fantastic Beasts series.
Like,
What
don't
the
call
heck?
it Fantastic Beasts. Call it, like, Grindelwald, The Crimes of Grindelwald.
Honestly, I just wish they would change the name because it's like
They can't now because you've branded it.
It's
it's
so
Harry Potter.
dumb.
Just branded something else.
No, they should have just made it
It
about
should have been
Grindelwald
named
from
something
the start.
different from the. Well,
Yeah, that's what I
it
mean,
was
like-
always about Grindelwald from the start, but they named it Fantastic Beasts because they wanted you to think it was something else.
Yeah, I know.
And it
Which
wasn't.
is done. Just be, like, upfront with me.
We should move forward. We should
Okay,
move on.
yeah, no.
We
We're
don't have
probably
time-
going to have to cut all that out.
We don't have time to
It's
complain
fine.
about Harry Potter like this all day.
And it's not even Harry Potter. It's
It's just the
a
Wizarding World.
prequel.
Dallas was
Continue.
third on the list.
I don't even understand this one. I think you should read it.
I'll do it. So Amazon Prime has ordered 2 seasons of Critical Role's animated The Legend of Vox Machina.
What is that?
What is
So
that?
for anybody who is into Dungeons and Dragons, Critical Role
Ooh.
is it's a web series on YouTube. It's just this group of, they are all voice actors, I believe, and they all play D&D together. Like, I think it's every Wednesday. And so they did a Kickstarter a few months back, I believe. I remember because one of my friends, I think, donated to the Kickstarter.
Nice.
Their goal was $750,000.
Wow.
They made like $11 million.
Damn.
$11 million.
Or they made something ridiculous that was way beyond what they
11.39 million from 88,887 backers.
That's it.
I need a Kickstarter.
So so basically what's going to happen is they are going to make a TV series. I think it's going to be based off an animated TV series based off of the adventures of the characters that they've made for their D&D campaigns.
Sounds fun.
Ah. It's kind of like, did you ever hear about Dan Harmon had like a D&D show?
Oh yeah, I did hear about that.
They would do the D&D show and then they would animate it.
Oh,
And so
yeah.
they would have like 3 people that were always in it and then a celebrity guest would
Okay,
play with them.
so-
and then they would
I think my
animate it.
professor did the music for that.
So nice.
Wow.
Yeah, he works with Dan Harmon sometimes. He's
So-
dope.
Critical Role, there was like 5 to 7 of these guys. I don't even know how many.
It looks like they're...
I've only watched a few episodes of Critical Role. I would love to get into it completely, but there are so many episodes and they're all like 2 hours long, and because
D&D goes
D&D goes for so long,
hard.
and they play every week live. But it's going to be the same cast of people who do the web series on YouTube. All of them do voice acting. Laura Bailey is one of them, and I think she played MJ in the recent Spider-Man game for PS4.
Oh, I like her.
Matthew Mercer, who is arguably the greatest DM to ever DM on Dungeons and Dragons. I don't know. I think Deborah Ann Wool is like my favorite DM ever, but he's really great. So yeah, if you're into D&D and stuff like that, I have recently gotten into it, so I love watching stuff like that. It'll be really exciting to see an animated show where it's like the adventures of these people, of these characters that they've created, and possibly based off of the adventures that they've already played out.
Yeah.
But shorter, because they'll be 22-minute episodes.
Yep.
Sounds like a fun time. Ashley Johnson. I like her.
Yes.
Oh, she's in... Oh, yeah, there she is.
Yeah.
She was supposed to be Cap's love story originally.
She was Tara in Teen Titans.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, she's dope.
She was also Gretchen from Recess.
Moving on to the last bit of news.
Margot Robbie and the Birds of Prey writer Christina Hodson, she also wrote Bumblebee. They are
Nice.
launching a female-driven action movie writing program.
Wow.
That's dope.
I want to do that.
I'm definitely
that.
going to take part in that at some point.
Or,
I'm
like,
definitely going to,
apply.
I'm at least going to apply for sure. That's definitely like in my wheelhouse of things. But yeah, if you're a writer out there and if you want to write action movies, you should do it. I really love the fact that Margot Robbie is so committed to inclusivity.
Yeah. At least for women.
Not even just women. Like, she was big on there being a diverse cast for Birds of Prey. Like, I really respect that about her.
I mean, those are women.
She meant like people
I
of
meant
color.
racially.
I'm just saying, like, all the dudes in Birds of Prey are white. So
Anyway, the point is she's really dedicated to inclusivity, and I appreciate that about her. She did one of those 76 questions or something like that.
Oh,
with
with
Margot Robbie.
Vogue?
But they were like consecutive questions that I was just like, oh my gosh, I love you. Like, I already thought you were amazing, but like you're like even more awesome. She was talking about how like one of the greatest things in film recently has been like inclusivity. They asked her like, what's your biggest pet peeve in like Hollywood, or what annoys you the most? And she was like, non-creatives making creative decisions. And I was just like, oh my gosh, you are literally like, wow, you're so great.
oh, time out. I was for a second. I thought you were gonna say
Non-white.
white people.
White people making decisions.
What's your biggest pet peeve? White men. But no, that's cool too.
I'm glad that Margot Robbie has taken like her career as an actress and has used it to help other people.
Yeah, that's dope.
She's using her platform to get other people noticed.
She's using her privilege for good.
Yes, and it's wonderful. Especially because she's only 2 years older than
I was
us.
gonna say she's almost our age.
Yeah.
We're almost her age.
Yeah, but she's been in the game for a super long time.
Yes, if
More
you
than
count
10
her
years.
working on Australian soap operas.
I mean, that's where she got. I feel like
Oh,
that's yeah.
Australians.
She's been in the game for like more than 10 years, so it makes sense that she
And she has her own production company,
was
and
decided to form her production company the moment she had like
With her
worldwide
husband.
acclaim. Yeah.
she's been making really great movies with that production company, and now she's going to be helping people with writing. So
Yep.
that's great. I appreciate you, Margot Robbie, and I
Which will
appreciate you,
probably-
Christina Hodson.
Well, it's also going to help her too, right? Because if somebody writes a good movie through her program, now she can produce it.
Yo, if I write a good movie through this program and I want to cast Margot Robbie, I hope that's a thing that becomes an option.
I don't see why it wouldn't be.
But you also know so many other actors that may need a leg up too.
I know, but Margot
Margot
Robbie is who you get for the
No.
lead actor.
You can only
No,
cast
no, no,
women
no,
of
no,
color.
No. You get Margot Robbie as the lead actor the same way that we're doing for this Birds of Prey movie. And you market it with Margot Robbie's name, but then you bring in a bunch of other people who people have never seen before. You guys know I like
Yeah.
obscure actors. She would be the
Sure.
only
No,
one.
I
with a
know.
name.
That's why I'm like,
She'll be the
you're-
Trojan horse for all your
Yep,
women of
there
color.
you go. Okay.
I appreciate that. All right, guys. That's it for today.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a while.
It has. We miss you guys.
I think she means that we've been talking.
No, we've been talking for a while.
Oh,
Talked about Terminator for like 2 hours. I'm just kidding. Thanks for listening. You guys are awesome. To me, thank you for editing and keeping us,
post-production.
keeping us afloat. Thank you to Crown Digital, Brandon and Io for putting us on Spotify and Apple. That's where you can find us. Also YouTube. You're listening on one of those. You can find us on Twitter at y'all_different. You can find us on Facebook to search for Creative Differences. You can find us on Tumblr at Creative Differences Podcast. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at a king named Simba.
You can find me, Gabby, on Instagram at Stegosaurus.
And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Dreamy Films. Dreamy spelled DREEMI. Once again, thank you guys for listening.
Yeah, it's been different.
I'm sorry. I was trying to think of a fake Twitter for Colin. I didn't do it.
Damn it.
At Robot Lover.
Ooh, I like that. But I want to credit that to Demi. So, Colin, when you're listening, just remember Demi said your Twitter is at Robot Lover. All right, guys, it's been different. Da-da-da-da-da.